There's always something that needs a little fixing on Far Point Farms.
Hey guys, it's Eric. Look, I want to do another Throwback Thursday. I love doing these videos, kind of bringing older stuff that I worked on the other channel back into the forefront on YouTube's algorithmic, trickery. But more importantly, just to show you how easy it is to do some of this stuff. The video tonight is about the Harbor Freight Bubble Balancer. I think theirs runs about $55, although with inflation, who knows what it costs as of this moment. But there are other options. You can get them on eBay and Amazon that are identical in every way, shape, and form to the Harbor Freight one. In fact, one of my friends bought one from Amazon that was a no-name, and I mean literally the same exact thing. Static balancing versus bubble balancing is the biggest question or comment that I got when I first posted the video on the other channel. A lot of people are under the impression that balancing with a dynamic balancer is going to be a whole lot better balance. And they're right, they're not wrong. But you have to understand what we're talking about when we're talking about balancing tires. Generally speaking, a customer or yourself cannot feel an imbalance of 0.50, like half an ounce or less. It can happen where they will notice something like that, but in most cases they won't. A static balancer is going to balance the outside of the tire, the outer bead. Or if you want to, you can flip it over and do a static balancing where the weights are just on the inside so that the customer doesn't see or you don't see the wheel weights being hammered on. But what a static balancer really doesn't do well is equal beats, right? A dynamic balancer or a road force balancer, well, they're spinning it up and it's detecting the imbalance on both sides. So theoretically, I put a weight here and I put a weight here, I've created a more balanced tire. And it's not really theoretical, it actually is the truth. But again, we use static balancers up through the mid to late 90s, and I know of several shops in the area that still use old static bubble balancers. They're more professional than the Harbor Freight one, but that doesn't mean they're any better. There's just a bubble balancer. That's all you're using. So anyway, I'm going to get into the video. I'll show you how we went around balancing tires, and I've done a lot of tires since that video was made. Probably well over 100, I would say. So all of those balanced out. I did have one comeback. Not sure what happened there. It might have thrown a weight, but one comeback out of, let's say, 135 tires, maybe more than that. It's not too terribly bad. We did have one. I mean to make a video, and I'll do this on this channel here. I have access to both a road force balancer, a dynamic regular balancer, and of course, the static balancer that I have here. And I'll make a video where we take a tire, a steel wheel tire, nothing too big, nothing too small, and I'll balance it with the static balancer, and then we'll throw it on a dynamic balancer, and then we'll throw it on a road force balancer and see just how big of a difference we're looking at. And then I'll do it the opposite way. I'll do a tire on a dynamic balancer and then throw it on a road force balancer just for fun. Anyway, let's watch that video. Now, what you want to make sure to do before you do the balancing is to pull off any old wheel weights. If there's stick-ons, they'll be back in this area here. If there's hammer-on weights, they'll be here on the lips. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll get the camera closer in. We'll lay this thing down on top of it. And let me just cover the one little setup thing as we get here. Okay, so let's take a closer look. Okay, so the whole idea behind a bubble balancer is this. There is a little balancing bubble in there, and it has to be in that center ring. As long as that is in the center ring, well, your tire should be fairly well balanced. So if I'm going to use this on a floor, well, that might be out of balance or out to one side or another, and that's what these three little screws here are for. You can adjust the balance to get it set. So if the floor isn't perfectly level, you can re-level the bead and you're ready to go. This part here is spring-loaded for various weights, and as you can see, the whole unit kind of teeters and totters. So a little bit of patience is required when doing this. Let me go ahead and throw the tire on there, and I'll show you the way to do it right. Well, we got our second tire on, and this one is a little bit out of whack. Here's the bubble right here. I can show you that it's a little offset. It's not drastic, but just a little bit. So the idea here is to add weight to each side of the tire to figure out where it is. So if my bubble is off to this side, I could add a weight right there and see how close it brings it in. That was actually pretty darn close. Let me try a little heavier weight. Let's see. Let's see here. Wow. There she is, beautifully But that is that's 225. So what you want to do when you have a situation like that is you're going to put one of those weights on the back side. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make a little mark with a pencil here. I'm going to hammer this weight on and one on the other side, and we'll go ahead and rebalance it again. Okay, so that was pretty much it. It's that simple. Hammered one weight on this side, one on the other side to even out that balance. And now my ball is right about in dead center of it. If I wanted to add another quarter, I could. Might make it just a little bit better. But I'm going to drive it like it is. These are going on the rears. If I notice a vibration, I can always pull it back in and rebalance it. So really kind of nice. I was able to reuse the wheel weights that I already had. I did buy a pack of steel weights, but didn't end up needing any. The other tire balanced perfectly, and this one was pretty darn close. So there it is. Not a terribly complicated process. It really does work well. Till next time, my friends, take care.